All right, welcome to our final match of the week here for week 3 for Pioneer Masters League. We got Cody Rayce against Rafael. So I believe they are perhaps starting a tradition here, second league in a row that they've arranged to face each other in a feature match. What's Rafael got going over there?
He had an interesting hand to start, but it only had one island. He's looking at a five lander with the two non-lands being an ingenious scab and a pilgrim's eye. So not awesome, but I mean
All
it's
right.
playable.
Yeah, Cody had to send back a hand that had like two colorless utility lands and no other lands. But he's swapped it for a pretty nice starter here. Two Blood Tithe Harvesters, Basilica Screecher, and Zathrid Necromancer. So
Rap seems to be just pasting quotes into the chat now. I don't know where he's getting them from, but
yeah, it's his best work really.
beautiful. I
Lovely,
mean he'll need some
inspiring,
help with it.
all of that. Yeah, so
He's
looking at the records, I think I saw Cody was 8-6, Raphael 7-7. So they're both middle of the pack. They're both going to be ending the week here, looking to make some big moves next week. But so Raphael's stuck without much to do, is what we're saying.
I mean, his draw for the turn was a non-land, but it's about the last non-land you want with this hand, which is an Illusory Angel, which is pretty much uncastable.
So Cody's deciding whether to use all of his mana for a Zathor Necromancer or just to play another Blood Tithe Harvester. And he's not a Blood Tithe Harvester. Now you can kill something, bigger than a X2 here.
Notably, Blood Tithe Harvester not human.
Definitely not. I mean, Zathor Necromancer, if you have no other humans in your deck, it's not great, but it's still just a 3 mana 2/2 that dies into a 2/2.
There's so many
Not
things.
really worthy of like a rare status as far as like what it will do, but
I
still a
mean,
fine card.
there's just so many things that are randomly humans, and like it'll probably be relevant.
Yeah, I find it's good in like black white with the like
Oh
imperious
yeah,
oligarchs and whatnot, but
yeah, for sure.
and other
Um,
humans that wish to be sacrificed. Yeah, I think he's gonna just. I think he's looking to just kill this. He could also alternatively just attack with both.
I mean, Rafa's like
Yep, that's. I was thinking like, oh, you could kill it, or you could just attack both. I mean, this is the same effect basically, except actually no difference.
he's drawn Gust of Wind, so I mean he can go like Pilgrim's Eye into Gust of Wind, Illusory Angel, which is like fine, but
Yeah, Illusory
oh
Angel will still die to the Blood Tithe Harvester, but
right,
yeah,
and he's still facing down a lot of damage before then.
yeah. No, this was a really nice compact type of hand for Cody. I mean, doesn't have removal, but he has the Blood Tithe Harvesters, which can be interactive.
Certainly putting the mid range in Rakdos mid range.
Yep, exactly. It's play creatures interact. Cool.
The way to go.
Thanks for the pointers.
Okay, he's just gonna fire off Gust of Wind now.
I mean,
I mean,
black
yeah,
blue. I mean, the black blue description wasn't too much more helpful, which I believe was like graveyard control. Right?
he's
Did
he had two flyers in hand, but just wanted to stem some damage now.
huh?
I think I like just going like Pilgrim's Eye there and then casting Gust for two into Illusory Angel.
Oh, the next turn. Yeah, that could work. So Zathor Necromancer's back. Cody's drawn a Obnixilis Cruelty for the turn, so
Good draw.
not too bad. He's contemplating playing his Akum Warrior here as a land.
It's not a horrible draw. He's got a stab wound, so he can stab the Harvester and just kill it.
Yeah, I could see not playing the Akum Warrior as a land. He does have a Basilica Screecher and a Nyxus Cruelty, but it doesn't actually help him cast both in a turn because he still just has
Only
one
one
black source.
black source, right? It does mean Cody is now free to just use his blood tokens if he wants.
Yeah, but all the cards in his hand are good. He has Akum Warrior, two Cruelties now, and a Basilica Screecher. So
He's
yeah,
I
looking pretty
mean,
good. I think he is just gonna possibly play the land now.
I don't know I'd call a Coom Warrior good, but
It's certainly not a
that's
card you would discard to a blood token at this juncture.
probably not.
So therefore, it's acceptable.
So now he can. I mean, okay, so he's gonna get one of these cruelties, which is still bad news because I assume his other play here is going to be Illusory Angel, uh, which he's going to see uh,
Maybe
run
not anymore.
into.
I mean,
Yeah, so
okay,
he's
yeah.
opting to play the Pilgrim's Eye instead, which means his only other card in his hand is Swamp, so the Angel's now uncastable unless he draws another spell.
Oh, we got we got kind of a potential surprise here. It's called a. Well, you're about to see it anyway. It's a Dokuchi something or other. It's a big 5/5 ninja.
Oh, sure, it's the 5/5 with ninjutsu for 4.
Shadow Walker. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, Cody just he had to double check that it was a single black to ninjutsu, which it is. So here comes a 5/5. I mean, when that thing just comes in out of nowhere, it hurts.
Another land drawn for
Rubs
turn,
his
so
hands before he goes away. Yes, very well.
so he raft boarding in 2 copies of Mizium Skin immediately.
But does he have anything worth protecting? That's the question.
What do we got? I see a Denrova horror. I see a Tomebound Lich. His creatures aren't all that
Okay.
powerful,
Yeah, no
but he
sideboarding done whatsoever here. I didn't catch a glimpse of too much of what was in the deck. I saw an Abhorrent Overlord up at the top, but he pressed done pretty quickly.
he's got some fun offset cards. He's got Inventive Iteration from Neo, which was a pretty good saga.
Yeah, he had just opened that earlier today.
Yeah, I see his main decking a Notion Thief. I don't know if that's gonna really do anything against red black.
Unlikely.
Commence the end game he's had for a while. I remember seeing him cast that
Yeah, he's
for.
had that since very early on. That
Yeah.
one's pretty scary.
I mean, yeah, it has the potential to just be an absolute blowout.
Yeah, and at worst, it's draw two, make a thing.
Oh, he's got a Thassa from the
Yeah,
devotion sheet as well. It's pretty good.
yeah, that one. I mean, it was so good and constructed. I think it sort of got a bit overrated and limited. I mean, it's still strong, but it kind of doesn't do all that much on its own.
It's also like I'm
But
looking
it's
at.
fine. It's fine. It's not bad, but I think often cards that like are really good in standard or something like get bumped up in people's estimation limited. But
I'm looking at Raph's deck, and he doesn't have like a ton of like relevant creatures that I even like want the Mizium skin for. I mean, I guess it's just a tempo play, but he doesn't have like a ton of creatures I'm like super hell bent on
yeah,
keeping on the board.
that's what I was wondering, right? As soon as you said he was bringing them in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it as just like a way to be tempo positive, but it's not like he's protecting, any sort of big bombs that are gonna win him the game.
He needs it to protect his Thassa from getting Nix's cruelty.
There you go. She's 5 toughness? She's 5/5, right?
I believe it is. Yeah.
I mean, Cruelty, like, already an amazing card, but goes up even a little more this week just because it can answer a lot of gods.
Yeah, can answer gods. Most of them. Yeah.
Most of them. I mean, there's a couple it doesn't hit, but like, oh no, I can't hit my opponent's crew fix. What will I do?
I don't know. If my opponent's playing Crufix, I'm pretty okay with it. But
Exactly.
I might want to get rid of an Erebos and not be able to.
Let's see how many gods it hits.
There's a few 7 toughness, I think. At least
Yeah,
two
there's
or
a few
two, 3.
7. Heliod 6.
Phoenix is 7. Yeah, there's a few it doesn't hit.
Right.
But yeah, I've also found like Gust of Wind to be pretty good against gods.
Okay. It hits 9 of the 15 gods. It's not bad.
Well, I don't think you're making your decisions of how many of Nix's cruelties you're playing based on that,
No,
but it's helpful. All right, into the game we go. Pretty reasonable
for sure.
starting hand fear for Cody. What's Rafael looking at?
Yet another one lander, but
Uh
this
oh.
looks a lot better. So he's 3 lands. He has a Silumgar sorcerer that he can't cast because he doesn't have 2 blue. And then his other cards are Pilaka Predation of Vraska's finisher from Ward the Spark, and then he's got that Inventive Iteration saga we talked about.
Okay, sounds
He's deciding if he wants to
passable.
bottom Swamp or the Sorcerer. It looks like he just went for a Swamp.
Okay. Yeah, pretty nice one here for Cody. Just has a bunch of cheap plays here. Sanitarium Skeleton to start. He's got Baleful Eidolon, Undead Butler, Witch's Mark, and Basilica Screecher, and a couple mountains. So just
Okay.
all things that cost 2 mana in his hand. So
Yeah, I
nothing
mean,
that's going to particularly drive the game super far forward. So he may just at some point run out of cards, and then Rafael, hopefully still being alive, will be able to stabilize potentially.
he's drawn his Thassa. I mean, it's not really going to do anything for him besides hopefully smooth his draws out a bit, and he kind of needs the help.
Yeah, Cody's not doing his usual, antics that we like, which is chatting back and forth with his opponent, throwing stuff up in the friend request bar,
I
talking about
know.
everything to us. So yeah, he's maybe he's thoroughly focused on this game, or maybe not. Yeah, so he's now drawn over the past couple turns 3 removals.
Not bad. I mean,
he's got
Rap.
he's got the 2 cruelties. He's got a March of Wretched Sorrow as well.
Oh, he has cruelty, so if Thassa ever gets online, it dies.
And he's drawn a Blood Tithe Harvester now, so like things are looking pretty okay here. I mean, he
It's
could do with a couple more lands, so he could just play all his stuff. So right now he's
right.
capped at 1 spell a turn.
Yeah, I mean, Raph is capped. If he doesn't draw anything, he's capped at 0 spells a turn. He can currently cast none of his hand.
Yeah, he's got the Scry one, so that's helpful.
Yeah, he drew it in Rova Horror a few turns back, which is just, he's 3 lands away from casting it.
Yeah, playing Vraska's Finisher as a 3/2 with no text is not where you want to be.
So feel great.
I mean, I don't know how strapped he is for Planeswolves, but that's a card I'd probably not be looking to play. Maybe next week when the Planeswalkers start coming back in number, it'll go up a little bit. But
I mean, he's drawn a castable card. He's scryed Notion Thief to the bottom. He's drawn a Stab. I mean, so he can at least play it, but he's not really like, he needs lands really.
yeah, I mean, he's not under. I mean, he is under pressure, I guess, with the Basilica Screecher hitting for 2, potentially 3 every turn with like the extortion.
Yeah, I mean, he's on,
So I
farm.
don't know. I don't know if I love discarding the only land I have left in my hand here. So
Interesting decision.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like you could just discard like an Undead Butler or something, or even the Baleful Eidolon, or just not discard anything this turn and play your mountain. Yeah. So I mean, obviously Cody knows his deck better than I do. I have a hard time discarding my 4th land there when I have a bunch of castable stuff in my hand.
Okay. I mean, he's not really found a 4th land. I mean, he kind of has, but like he has a word for it. Um,
Yeah, I think it took a little too long for Rafael to get online here. Like, there's so many ways for Cody to keep the beatings coming here with the Basilica Screecher. He's drawn even a Zulaport Cutthroat as well.
oh yeah, I mean that's at this point it's just like he's bleeding life, and there's only so much life he's got.
Yeah, he's just hitting him for little amounts at a time, but they're adding up. Chalk another one up for our friend the Basilica Screecher. Basilica strikes again.
He is gust of wind, but that's not like super useful.
Yeah, it's not really an amazing use of resources at this juncture, but
He's
if
gonna
if he
fire it
if he
off,
needs
but
to, he needs to.
so well, I mean this is kind of fine. Like he has the Silumgar sorcerer, so he can actually just like counter this Basilica creature when it comes back in, and kind of like stem the bleeding a little bit.
You got a Rogue's Passage off the top here, which I guess that's 100% confirmation that it's in the set because we've seen it twice. The
I
first
actually think
time I
just
wasn't sure. Now I'm convinced.
Yeah, I think Adam and Cody we're just cheating for sure, right?
Well, we don't have to go that far.
um,
All right. So different things he can do here. Again, he's still just capped at casting one spell unless he goes Basilica Screecher into Baleful Eidolon. He's thinking of just playing Cruelty and just getting rid of the creature here.
makes sense.
Or Mark.
I think
Okay.
I mean, it's quite hard for Raph to come back from this with what's in his hand. None of this like stops Zulaport Cutthroat.
So I think he's maybe trying to exile a card from his hand to cast March of Wretched Sorrow for cheap.
I mean, Raph drew Mizium Skin, so he can play that and brick this March. He's reading Silumgar Sorcerer, which does only counter creature spells.
It sure does. Yeah, so Cody can, if he really wants to fight over this, he can cast his Omnixilus' Cruelty.
In response, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you probably do.
I mean, it's that or play a Blood Tithe Harvester, probably. But he's kind of priced into doing Omnixilus Cruelty, especially after exiling a card from his hand to cast this on the cheap.
Right. Yeah, and you want to get him for attacks this turn.
Yeah, attacks are helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just an attack for one, but when you have a Basilica creature in hand, every life matters.
Sure does. And it's like, he's seen a Keepsake Gorgon, which is just like too slow at this point.
Yeah, Thassa's been 3 mana Scry one every turn. If that was like any creature with any power or toughness, he'd be in a bit of a better position, I would say.
I mean, even if this game was slower, I think it would certainly be pretty impactful. But just like the fact that he's been kind of stumbling a bit, and his opponent's just been playing creatures and hitting him.
Yeah, he had 3 lands and every spell in his hand castable with 3 lands, and that was
Discarding
his
his second
attack.
Museum State. So
What's he holding up
you,
here?
he still has the Silumgar Sorcerer, which is like not not gonna do a whole lot for him. He can just flash it in and block with it, and he probably has to.
All right, so it looks like was not wanting. Okay, so he is going to offer up the Cutthroat here. He wasn't going to obviously do it last turn because the Pilgrim's Eye had an extra toughness.
Right. But
Yeah, so he's going to play the Basilica creature, which is going to get countered, and then he can resolve his Blood Tithe Harvester or his Azatep Reaver, which makes 2 lethal threats.
Okay,
Oh,
I mean,
wow, the Basilica resolved.
at this point, like it kind of is a moot point because he can't stop, like 3. He's just a client. Yeah, at this point, it's kind of just is what it is. I don't think Raph can. There's any card in his deck that stops this.
All right, so looks like Cody's going to be taking this one down unless we get something that kills everything. That would be about the only thing, and then he could still get back one of them.
And he's got Rogue's Passage, so it's not like we could take a couple more turns.
There's
But
no. I mean, he gets to play a cool rare. He gets to show his opponent, hey, look what I can do. But what he can do is not going to get him the win, unfortunately.
he
Here,
did manage to turn his toss online. I guess that's pretty cool.
so it did something just before he died. I mean, Scry one is not nothing, but 3 mana to Scry one every turn, you can't really do that.
I will say, if he didn't have the Thassa, this game would have been over a couple turns ago.
Okay.
His draws would have been much, much worse if he wasn't scrying something to the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, having a card lose you the game a little slower is not great praise. But look, I know Thassa's good. It's just sometimes it's not going to be enough.
Right.
Like a lot of these gods, they're just like pay mana to put a thing in play that does absolutely nothing for some period of time.
It's true. And especially the monocolor ones are a little bit harder to turn on.
Yeah, they're. I think the gods are a little like just. I mean, some of them are like really really strong, but like I mentioned before, I think across the board they're a little overrated. Like I said, a lot of them are like Perforos is like a super scary one. Like that's one that just wins the game sometimes outright on its own.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
2 damage for every creature that comes in. Like
And like,
ridiculous.
Karanos is another like pretty stupid one.
Yeah, yeah. There's a few that are really really good. All right, so Cody may be racking his brain to say what could opponent possibly have, and the answer is I don't
Yeah.
think
I
there's
mean,
anything for 2 mana. Like there are in other sets, there's cards that say like opponent's creatures get -2 minus or whatever, but this is
he
not one
does
of
have
them.
he has a lethal exploit, but he's still, he can
I mean, he Cody even drew that
block
image
two
of
of them,
Cody
lethal
even
exploit
drew the
one, but
image
he's
of
still
like
taking one.
okay, he just says I'll
Oh,
just put you on no blockers whatsoever.
I'm gonna do it.
All right, so good win here for Cody in this ongoing series of battles they've been having in future matches. So once again, congratulations and thanks for watching.